Thanks to high-def online streaming and the trusty pause button, it's a lot easier to analyze scenes, find Easter eggs, and explore films like never before.
They're not gonna find it without this.
Watch and see the most paused moments from huge blockbusters to learn why they were paused, what you can actually see, and why the moments are so popular. This includes hits like Star Wars: The Force Awakens and Jurassic World, among others. Before you watch, pause for a second and click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of new content. And can you guess which movie is represented by these emojis? Stay tuned to the end to find out.
Mommy is just so sick and tired of wearing panties.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The Wolf of Wall Street. It's pretty safe to say that Margot Robbie was the breakout star of The Wolf of Wall Street. While actors like Leo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill were hamming it on screen, Robbie was drawing attention in every scene that she appeared in. This also includes a crazy scene people would pause before it even ended. A subplot in the film involved a fight between Robbie's character Naomi and her on-screen husband played by DiCaprio. As a result of the fight, Naomi has initiated a no-touch policy for her husband. She takes things one step further by teasing him during this and revealing the fact that she no longer plans on wearing any underwear. The strangest part of it all is that the whole scene takes place inside of a nursery. Unbeknownst to her, hidden teddy bear security cameras are capturing every moment as she spreads her legs and covers up the lower region with just a hand. Even though the revealing shot is only shown through a low-quality security monitor, it was good enough for people to hit the pause button, slow motion controls, and rewind to watch it all over again. Of course, it was pretty much just as revealing as her Harley Quinn outfit in Suicide Squad.
I understood that reference.
Wait a minute, where'd she go? Bring her back. Play back the entire message.
Star Wars: A New Hope. The original Star Wars film changed special effects in Hollywood forever. With so much focus on flying ships, lightsaber fights, moving droids, and hovering vehicles, you can imagine how the directors, cinematographers, producers, and video editors all missed one of the biggest gaffes in movie history. During a scene when an automatic door slides up, stormtroopers quickly make their way through until, yep, pause it right there. Bonk. One of the trained protectors of Darth Vader just hit his head on the door and looks like a huge fool in the process. The small urban legend quickly became a fact after fans gobbled up re-releases of the film on VHS, Laserdisc, and eventually DVD to watch the blooper. After learning about the mistake, George Lucas did actually insert a sound effect into future releases so it would be more realistic.
Hey, come over.
It just never gets old seeing that mistake over and over again. Seriously, watch it on Blu-ray. It's there. Jurassic World. Jurassic World lived up to the hype a whole trilogy of films teased us about. The park would finally be open to the public. And it was everything we dreamed of. Jimmy Fallon was the virtual tour guide, monorails transported guests all around, and children can hop on the back of a baby dinosaur. Sure, the Indominus Rex may have escaped and wreaked havoc, but it was all great while it lasted. While planning the production of the film, director Colin Trevorrow focused on making the park as corporate as possible. This is why the film is filled with all types of sponsors. One of them being the restaurant chain Margaritaville, which is owned by Jimmy Buffett. If you watch closely during the flying dinosaur attack montage, you can pause it and see a man scurry away with 2 margaritas in hand. That is actually Jimmy Buffett himself. Many fans had to pause because Buffett was wearing a hat and glasses to conceal his look just a little bit. I guess he truly does love his own restaurant chain. The moment goes by quickly, and not only does Buffett get away from the predatory prehistoric flying dinos, but he manages to protect his drinks in the process.
I'd have to be pretty stupid to write a book about killing and then kill somebody the way I described it in my book. I'd be announcing myself as the killer. I'm not stupid.
Basic Instinct. Do you remember the plot of Basic Instinct? Do you remember anyone that starred in it other than Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas? No. There's probably only one thing you really do remember from the film, and that's the interrogation scene. Sharon Stone is the prime suspect in the murder of a rock star and must undergo questioning from multiple detectives. Looking to use her body as a form of distraction, Stone wears a short dress with nothing on underneath. A quick crossing of the legs and you have movie history along with one of the most iconic film moments of all time. This scene alone built up a lot of hype for the film, and much of the audience were dumbfounded and frozen like the detectives in the room with her. It not only led to a lot of pause moments, but it created a whole Lifetime channel library of movies with similar plots about crazy murderers. The scene actually takes place really early in the movie and helps set the tone for the rest of it as more crimes occur. The adult content is kicked up a few notches, and murders are committed using the infamous ice pick. Thanks to the internet, you no longer have to rent the whole movie to watch just that one scene.
I am Iron Man.
Iron Man. Setting up the Marvel Cinematic Universe took years of planning, and it all started with Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. Knowing what we know now about the MCU, it's easier to look back and see how all the ambitious projects first began. For recent releases, it's common to see Captain America hang out with Thor or Iron Man check up on the new Spider-Man. But back in 2008, this was not the case. The first Iron Man was essentially a standalone film used to build up this core character. The filmmakers did manage to sneak in a small Easter egg that fans gobbled up. During a scene where Iron Man attempts to take his suit off, we can spot a prototype Captain America shield in the background. This may seem like nothing now, but it was huge at the time and a big hint at the Avengers forming in the future, which was exciting. Hopefully, the shield that he was designing wasn't the one Captain America impaled on his chest during the climactic scenes of Captain America: Civil War.
I understood that reference.
That would be just bad luck if it was.
Hi, Brad. You know how cute I always thought you were.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Back in the 1980s, there were millions of teens getting good use out of their VCRs thanks to the home video release of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. The coming-of-age story had an all-star cast including Sean Penn, Judge Reinhold, Forrest Whitaker, and Jennifer Jason Leigh. While a bunch of people probably paused the film to see Nicolas Cage's minor role at a burger joint, there was one scene that a majority of teens paused, and it only requires 2 words to know what it is: Phoebe Cates. Cates was a big star back in the 80s, and her role as Linda Barrett in Fast Times at Ridgemont High might be her most popular. Wearing a signature red bathing suit, Bates slowly climbs out of the pool and undoes her top to reveal her bare chest to everyone watching. Even though the scene was just a fantasy of Brad Hamilton, it's so real for viewers watching at home. The DVD and Blu-ray release of the classic film only highlighted the classic moment in even better quality. Plus, the media wouldn't get worn down after pausing it so much. Even though Cates was initially against the idea of the scene, it worked out well for everyone involved.
Inside the Ark are treasures beyond your wildest aspirations. You want to see it open as well as I.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Steven Spielberg knew exactly what he was doing when making Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Harrison Ford action-adventure features set piece after set piece of thrilling action and high-octane moments that are still hard to match in today's world of Hollywood. One scene features a tense standoff where Indiana Jones has the Nazis cornered by pointing a large Panzerfaust in their direction. As Jones threatens to blow up the Ark so the Nazis can't use it, Belloq begins to call his bluff in an intense showdown that eventually ends with Indy succumbing to them so the Ark remains protected and intact. On the first watch, the scene features a lot of drama and tension. Watch again and pay close attention to Belloq as he talks. A small fly actually lands right on his lip. Belloq impressively continues the scene until the fly crawls into his mouth. If you thought that was going to stop Belloq, you were wrong. The fly spends time in his mouth, disappears, and is never seen again in the extended scene. Maybe Indiana saw him chomping on the fly and decided not to confront Belloq directly. It's surprising that the moment was left in because once you see the fly, you can't really unsee it, and the fly becomes your focal point for the entire scene.
You're a monster, Zod. And I'm gonna stop you.
Man of Steel. Man of Steel was a great way to reboot the story of Superman. At the time of its release, many fans were unaware that the DC Extended Universe was being formed with this film. For many, the biggest action highlights include a huge battle with General Zod towards the end of the film. These two powerful aliens didn't choose to do battle in some sort of deserted area or rural farm. Instead, they decided to bounce each other off building after building in Metropolis. The fight gets so intense that the two characters end up flying up to outer space. This moment may have seemed a little over the top, but fans loved it for one very specific reason. During the space fist fight, Superman throws General Zod into a large satellite. A quick shot reveals that the satellite has a Wayne Enterprises logo right on top of it. The logo got fans pumped because the shot clued people in that Batman was a part of the Superman universe. Of course, a few years later we got to see Bruce Wayne confront Clark Kent for that carnage in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Nobody knows that they saw it, but they did.
Nice big.
Fight Club. Fight Club features a great twist ending, but for a savvy film fan, the ending isn't that hard to figure out. David Fincher used a bunch of different visual clues and editing tricks to basically give away the ending and hint at the fact that Edward Norton's character manifested Brad Pitt's character in his own mind. One way of doing this was by inserting freeze frames into multiple parts of the movie. Pitt's character even explains this process during his job as a film projectionist. It's pretty funny to know that the same technique that Pitt talks about is exactly what happened way earlier in the film. Multiple freeze frames, only accessible through a quick pause button, reveal Brad Pitt's appearance way early on. This includes a hallway, out on the street, and other locations as Norton goes through his day. These quick shots are hard to see, but they are there and represent the start of the character building in Edward Norton's mind. It's fun to see how many of the freeze frames you can actually find. Just don't pause too long on the final freeze frame in the film. It features a full frontal shots of a man's privates.
It's true. All of it.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Star Wars: The Force Awakens was a great way to refresh the franchise after the poorly received prequel trilogy. Force Awakens takes place years after Return of the Jedi and has the ability to introduce new characters along with old favorites like Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Chewbacca. The one person people were waiting to see the whole film was Luke Skywalker. There are a couple of teaser scenes featuring the character, but his full-fledged reveal doesn't happen until the very final moments of the movie. Because of this, you may have been too distracted to notice the strange formation of stones that Skywalker stands near. One of the stones protrudes from the ground and looks like some sort of makeshift gravestone. Once fans noticed this, crazy speculation began about what the stone meant and who it belonged to. If it was a grave, who is buried way up in the mountains?
Thought it was a bunch of mumbo-jumbo.
Maybe it's just a random rock. Only time will tell, but before then, the mysterious gravestone will keep fans guessing and coming up with plenty of crazy theories. Well, there you have it. What pause moment do you like the best? Are there any that we missed? Does pausing it take away from the overall film?
It is something that man was not meant to disturb.
Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Screen Rant on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos. And the answer to our emoji quiz is...